Good evening and welcome to this evening's edition of Chapter Chat. It's me, Father Tony, here with you this evening, and we're coming live from Nemi, where we are currently having our general chapter. It's actually been a full week since Father Louis Logan, the Superior General, officially opened the chapter. With me tonight, it's Father Shanil. Greetings, Father Shanil.
Hi, Tony. How are you? I call you Tony, but your name is Marco Ortiz here. Anyway, can I call you Tony?
Of course you can.
And greetings to our viewers. Of course, it's not the usual face. The great Bonga is not here tonight. So maybe some viewers are upset with me. So please don't get upset with me. I'm sorry. Bonga will come to you again from tomorrow probably. So it's just a day off for him.
Oh, yeah.
Konnichiwa, Tony.
Hello. So, Shanil, who is our guest tonight? Please introduce him briefly.
He just said to you, Konnichiwa. I don't know what it means.
I know.
Really. So,
well,
Tony,
we have in Japanese then.
Yes. So already we know it's something from somebody from Japan. It's Father Jude Peirispulle, originally from Sri Lanka. His hometown is not very far from my hometown. So that means we are from the same country, Sri Lanka. But now he's working in Japan for a very long time. So good evening, Father Jude.
Good evening.
Thank you for being with us tonight.
Yes,
and welcome to our show, Chapter Chat.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Tony.
Good you. Konbanwa. Genki desu ka?
Genki desu ka?
Genki da yo. Genki da yo. Thank
Now
you for being here tonight.
Now I feel ashamed here for not knowing any Japanese.
We're a missionary community. We have to learn everything.
Yeah.
Be ready for everything. So, Shanil, why don't you give us a little bit of an update of what happened today at the chapter here in Nemi?
Okay, Tony. So once again, as Tony already said, it's 1 week gone. I mean, it's just like 2 days for me. It has been pretty a busy week for all the capitulars. So what happened this morning, Tony, and to our viewers, today's morning was devoted to finalizing the reports. As you know, yesterday, Father Louis Logan, the General, Superior General, and Father Mark Desereau, the Treasurer General, presented their report. So today, the Treasurer General, Father Mark, answered the questions which had been addressed to him yesterday in writing by the regional groups. And then the capitulars had a break. And after the break, Father Constant Kinge, our Procurator General to the Holy See, presented his work, referring in particular to those who left the congregation in the last 6 years. So his presentation was very alarming in a way, I would say, and also it was food for thought to all of us. This afternoon, the capitulants were invited, like the disciples of Emmaus. If I remember, it's Luke chapter 24. Mm-hmm. The disciples of Emmaus who were invited to reflect on what they had heard and shared during the first week of the chapter. So there were two interesting questions put on to them. One was, what made our hearts burn? The same question that was put forward by the disciples of Emmaus. What made our hearts burn during the first week? And what made our hearts break during the first week of the chapter? So these were the questions that guided their reflection and sharing in small groups. After dinner, of course, right now it's happening. We are after dinner now. Father Diego in the Aula Magna, the chapter hall. Father Diego Saez, our general postulator, is reporting his own activity, especially on the causes of canonization of Oblate. So it's going on right now. So, Tony, this is more or less the proceedings of the day.
Wow, thank you, Shanil. It's very edifying to see the chapter capitulants walking in pairs this afternoon. You saw them walking around the property, chit-chatting with each other in a very prayerful way. So let us continue to pray that their deliberations will indeed bring forth fruit for the entire Oblate family.
Yes, Tony, that's very true. Father Jude, welcome to you once again.
Yeah.
Please briefly tell us about yourself. Who is Father Jude?
Yes.
And how and why did you become an oblate? Your story.
I am Jude Peirispulle from Sri Lanka, as Shanil introduced, very close to Colombo. I'm from a city called Nigambo, which is known as the Little Rome. My life to become an oblate has a long story, but to make it short, there was an oblate working in my parish, and he is the one who convinced me to join the seminary. Usually, in Sri Lanka, if a kid wants to join the seminary, they go very young. But I finished all my education, and I had the chance of entering into the university or to the seminary. I had the discerning point there. So it was not very much to be true to go on the religious life. I was to go into the higher education, but my parish priest, who was an oblate, convinced me to go and join the summer camp, and that made me to join the oblates. Actually, in Sri Lanka, we have the juniorate. That particular year, the formation or the spiritual director or the formation pushed me to go into the pre-novitiate instead of the juniorate. So I have no experience of the juniorate. So that's how I started my life. So ever since, everything went on well, and now I'm an oblate, almost 30 years.
So you were ordained a priest
in 1992 with the present provincial of Sri Lanka, Roshan, and present superior of Japan, Bradley, and former superior of Pakistan, Derek, and some others.
So 1992 you were ordained, and you went to Japan as your first obedience?
No, I worked 2 years in Sri Lanka. That's a difficult mission I had. I was working in Trincomalee. As you know, we had civil war, and I had to work in a hard situations. I went through terrible experiences working in Trincomalee 2 years. And that time, Father General Sago gave the obedience, work 2 years in your country and then go as a missionary. Get some experience from your own place and then go as a missionary. That was set up that time. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, Father Jude. I think our viewers will be interested to know a little bit more about the Oblate mission in Japan, its history, and where it is right now. Would you mind sharing a little bit about that with us?
Yeah, if I speak a little bit about Japanese missions, was started by the Americans, if I'm not mistaken. I don't have any details. 1948. Next year, we celebrate 75 years of Oblates arriving in Japan. So that's why I calculate 1948. And it was mainly started by the eastern province of America. Sorry to say, they had different provinces at that time, and the first missionaries, 2 of them, went to Japan, and then eventually it was open to Belgians, and then some from Philippines and other countries. Mainly they are at the beginning Belgians and Americans started, and then eventually the Filipinos joined. And when the number was going down during Zago's time, they invited 2 of us from Sri Lanka for the first time. So that's how it had started.
Wow, that's very interesting.
Anything more? If you ask, I'll answer the question.
Maybe, Tony, we can ask Jude about the main missions that the Oblates do.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Okay. I can summarize into 4 main things in one of our conventions or the chapters or whatever we had there. We focused into 4 different things. Mainly, we in Japan do parish and kindergarten. We have about 11 parishes right now. Still, we are continuing, and 5 kindergarten. We closed 1 kindergarten because of the number. 5 kindergartens, and that's the main ministry. We won't call it a parish, but we call it a mission stations. it has a different meaning. If I have the chance to speak more, I will speak on that. Probably you have more questions to ask, so I will leave it. The second point is we focus also on youth ministry, working with the youth, and that's we think about the good vocation. Need not to be the priesthood or religious life. We also focus there to good family life and good members to be in the community. And third one is mainly what I am doing, being in a parish, in a mission station, working with the immigrants. And what we call immigrants or destitutes or whatever. The fourth is advocacy. We focus on social issues like justice and peace, working in the prison, pro-life, and also at the same time we also do other things, visiting prisons, and I do also a lot of translation to the government, like in the immigration or courts, police, and things like that. So these are social issues, whatever it comes, and we also work with the drug addicts and AA, Alcoholic Anonymous, and homeless people, all kinds of things that comes under advocacy. There are many, you name it, we are working on those things without a proper title,
Yeah.
So,
wow, that's very interesting. I know we had an opportunity a couple of days ago to chit chat a little bit. I told you I got to visit the parish there in Itami. I forget who.
Yeah, Itami. Yeah. That's our main place. That's our center. That's how the Itami is the place where we are recorded as our religious institute in the government. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your first impressions, your feelings when you first had your obedience there to Japan? How did you overcome the initial struggles having to learn the language?
Oh my God, that's a good question. First of all, I'll tell you, we were 8 in our class when we were ordained, and 4 of us asked for foreign missions, and one particularly mentioned Japan, and 4 of us who did not want to go anywhere but work in Sri Lanka. I am one of them, and 4 who asked to go for a foreign mission stayed in Sri Lanka. 4 who did not want to go out, they went out.
Oh, wow.
That was Zago's the missionary mind, and the one who wanted to go to Japan as a missionary is working in Australia now. Angelo Vijay Vikrama is joined the Australian province, if you know. So I did not want to go. So this is how it happened at that time. The provincial of Japan, an American, Angelo Siani. Before that, it's John Mahoney. I recall these names. If somebody is listening and somebody knows about them, they will be happy. Went to Sri Lanka to ask for some missionaries from Sri Lanka because we had a lot of vocations. And eventually, 2 of us were, promised to give to Japan to work. But Angelo Siani, during that time, the provincial came and told us, you come for 2 years. After 2 years, if you don't like, you can go back. I said, this is a good opportunity. I don't want to work any foreign countries, just experience 2 years of, a good life in Japan, and I want to see Japan. That was my impression. Definitely, after 2 years, I wanted to go back to Sri Lanka. I was not happy. That was not my mission. I went through real how do you say that, dark tunnel, even to leave my priesthood. That came up to that level. So I went to my spiritual director, or one of my spiritual directors, and discussed about it. And then this is, I think, very important for any missionary working in any country. He asked me, why did you become an oblate? Why did you become a priest? So that turned me upside down. It is not to glorify yourself, but to serve. Go and take the cross. That was my impression that I got from talking to this spiritual director. So I said, now it's a different mission. So now I don't think I'm facing that same situation. Now I encourage anybody, any missionary, to go through that dark tunnel to come through And at the same time, one of the missionaries from America also encouraged me. I went through the same experience. So after 2 years, you'll be okay. Just go ahead. So that was my impression. Sorry if my answer is too long.
No, it's perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah.
And let's maybe change the topic a bit. We'll move from Japan and we'll come back to naming. Now, I suppose this is your first general chapter?
Definitely, yes.
Okay.
It is.
And how do you feel about being in a chapter? Talk us about your chapter experience. I know we are only 1 week into it. But what does it mean to you being part of the general chapter?
Tony, I have to tell you something. You are listening,
Tell me.
right?
Yes, I'm listening.
Today we had this Emmaus journey. We were walking with Felix from Germany, and Shanil was noticing me what I am doing. He knew I was walking with Felix. Actually, I was sharing the same thing with him with this Emmaus journey. I have to be honest. I don't think I'm afraid to tell this. First of all, I did not want to come for this chapter. I was not impressed at all. But I was elected. Just go. And my superior convinced me probably the migrant work might come up. So you might have something to say. That's one thing made me to come. And I said, I don't know. Probably the Holy Spirit moved me to come. I shared with my group today. I don't know whether it's good or not. But there are some things that, made me a thought to be not to go. One thing is my mission that I've been doing. I don't want to neglect, and the situation we are facing at Japan right now. I thought there is no meaning. What's you're going there for a meeting, sit down for 1 month, and just listening to people, and there's no answer that what I am expecting. So I think coming out, it's like a Emmaus journey. Coming out, going out of the way, out of Jerusalem. I feel I made the correct decision coming here. Something to share. I feel okay. I feel happy. Yeah.
Okay,
that's wonderful. I mean, I think those are beautiful words you just shared with us.
Yeah.
Your whole experience and even the decision to come and be part of this historical moment. Maybe you can share with us a little bit about your personal reflection on the theme that we have of the chapter, the Pilgrims of Hope in Communion.
Very good. Pilgrim of Hope in Communion. That's right. Pilgrim, it's a journey. I think when you speak about pilgrim, you have to leave away most of your things. I think I have started not knowingly or deliberately. I have left so many things behind to join this pilgrim first. To this chapter. I don't know what it would be. But when you say hope, you don't know what's going to come. It's you just give it to the Spirit to move you. Yeah. You are in a hope, expecting that something good, something directed, something guided would come. So I am in hope. Again, I say, without giving much consideration to the theme, I have come here now. I reflect. Oh, there is something that I have to think of. Done. And the theme of communion is very, very important. Theme of communion. That's would be my homework if I go back, or if I am to share with my own brother. That would be the theme I would share. Communion. You have to. I think Father General also was stressing on that unity. Unity in communion with God, in communion with your own brother, in communion with the nature, in communion with what is going on time of the time. I think that's very, very important. We have to focus on this. I don't know who will be the next general, but these themes have to come up, I think.
Yeah,
okay.
That's it. Well, thank you for that reflection. You spoke a lot about hope. You spoke about communion. What about do you see yourself as a pilgrim who gives hope to the people that you serve, especially in Japan, for example?
If you ask, do I give a hope to the people I serve? I have given enough hopes to the people, and to be in short, in short, some of the people were kind of, shaken when they heard that I'm going for this chapter. Are
1
you?
month
They
out.
are, they are asking me, are you coming back? They know what is going on. If they ask you to stay back or ask to take something else, what is going to happen? So they have given a big hope in me, and at the same time, I have been in the parish that I'm working for 5 years now. I had so many dreams and hopes and agendas which we could not implement because of the COVID. For 3 years, we are kind of stranded, training and giving leadership to the people and taking them into the good direction. So I wish and pray that I go back to the place, and this hope will be brought into the realization. And I think they have kept a big hope in me, and I hope also that I can bring that hope into the realization in my ministry back in Japan.
So you consider yourself a pilgrim of hope in communion with your people.
Exactly. And
Perfect.
I think
That's great.
I think if you have asked this question from one of my parishioners, we would have given a big answer than.
Now, coming back to the theme, Father Jude, I believe that Father you briefly mentioned about quoted Father General's speech. Now, I believe Father General gave his report on the state of the congregation. And after having listened and deliberated on the Superior General's report, what are your really, your personal thoughts? And of course, you briefly mentioned, maybe there's something else that I would like to continue with that question. Now, with all that, the state of the congregation right now, are you optimistic? Do you think we have a future? What can be done to assure the rebirth of our congregation?
Actually, first of all, answering to Shanil's question, I think our Superior General, the talk that he gave, he had done justice to what he has done in these 12 years. But to be honest with him, I expected a report. He was very good in giving the thing, and it spoke in a different way to my personal oblate life. But sitting there, waiting to listen to his report, what I expected is, in these 12 years, what he had done, what he has fulfilled, what has gone, could not do, those are the things I expected. But he was touching, first of all, about coming up with that nice cartoon. I liked it, work and prayer, communion with God, and work, connecting with your service. He was touching more on evangelical counsels, justice, chastity, poverty, obedience. And I think, I don't know, I haven't read his history yet, more on it. I would call it a retreat,
more of a reflection,
more than a report. More than what he gave on that report, I would take into consideration what he said this morning. It really touched me, it really moved. I shared with my group too. He said, we are not alone. We are not doing this job alone. That's in communion. That's the unity. I think he is speaking. So that strengthened me. I will give 100% comment on this. I think that is the thing. I'm not optimistic on this. We are not alone. We are a missionary congregation. That should put into our will to go forward to our next 6 years or 12 years. We have to work as a congregation, not alone, but as a community, in communion.
So we are in a way optimistic about our future as well, in that sense.
I'm very, I don't know, rather than optimistic, I am very happy, brave to say this word, we have a future forward. We should, this not diminish, though we have dark tunnels to go through in different missions with different problems, questions, but we have a future. We have a hope.
We'll move a bit to another theme now. coming back to Asia now, since you are working in Japan over 25 years.
28, by the
20
way.
years, yes, yeah.
28.
So, yeah, so over 25 years. I said. So, by the way, did you celebrate 25 years in Japan 3 years ago?
Yes,
Okay.
I did. Yeah.
Now, Tony, what I wanted to ask was, speaking now, both of us are from Asia, and I know you also have a brief experience in Asia. Now, tell us about the reality of the congregation in Asia in general. Now, for example, let me say, why should our young brothers aspire to be missionaries in Asia? You are a missionary in Asia, and there are so many from different countries who are working in Asia. For example, China, Korea, Japan, and elsewhere, even Australia, for that matter. What's your general, let's say, your experience and the reality of congregation in Asia?
Asia, I don't know. I won't limit it to Asia, because this is, I think, if I caught correctly, I think Father Firth, in one of the talks, he said, we are a globalized, moving world. You name, there are all kinds of people in all over the world.
Yeah.
Maybe for Tony, it's the same. And for you, being a Sri Lankan, you're working here. I am being a Sri Lankan working in Japan. In our group, in our unit, Asia Oceania unit, there's somebody from Poland working in Hong Kong. We are spread. You go beyond. You don't limit yourself, but what you have to take is your oblateness to that particular place. And coming here, you can see that. I don't know who is working where.
You can't gauge from the faces where they are working.
Looking at me, when I said that I work in Japan, oh, you don't have a Japanese face. So people be a Japanese working in Japan. That time is finished. So we are beyond bringing Eugene Mason's message to the people. That's the new millennium, I think, what I understand. It's not limited to Asia. We are shifting our turn to each other, and that's why I would like to and I don't think we have much time. The sharing of our resources, sharing of our personal, sharing our founders' zeal, mission with the people.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Father Jude. Now I have one last question. I know a lot of our viewers are always wondering how the Spirit is blowing. Are there any names that are surfacing? Who do you think is going to be our next Superior General?
You are asking me?
Yes, of course.
You are asking me? Do you want to know the exact answer? Okay, I will name Tony. Are you ready? Are you ready?
I don't know if I want to hear this.
This is a very difficult question. This is only 1 week. I think we are given 1 month to reflect, and it's not reflecting. It's more, I would say, the work of the Holy Spirit to work through us to choose the correct person. I think every member in this chapter is thinking, whom should I name? The person, like in today's Emmaus journey, the two of them did not know that Jesus is going to come and meet. So I think the one who is going to be appointed also do not know that he'll be appointed.
So it's the Spirit.
It's a spirit, the movement of the Spirit. I don't think, Tony, I would clearly tell you, I would not like to take that Holy Spirit's place.
Well, Tony, I know it's not me. That's for sure.
Hey, today we're celebrating the Feast of Saint Matthew. He also said, is it me? The Spirit moves us whichever way.
Yeah,
I think we're just about out of time. I want to say thank you again, Father Jude, for being with us. Thank you for the live, your answers, your missionary, your inspiration. I think not just for me, but I think many of our viewers have been inspired. We have been getting some comments here. And I just thank you for your time. Thank you for having said
Thank
yes.
you,
and
thank you,
coming
Tony.
to
I
the
would
chapter.
I would like to say one last thing.
Sure.
I was asked to come and give this live. I just came out from a walk. I had no time to put out my makeup. Sorry for that.
You tried hard, but he didn't come on time. My makeup set was ready.
Anyway.
So thank you, as Tony said, to all those who viewed and also commented. And we really appreciate it, isn't it, Tony?
Yes, yes. Let's keep the chapter in prayer and hope that the Spirit keeps moving us the way it has.
Yeah.
God
correct.
bless.
Okay. God bless
Thank
you. God bless you. Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you. Thank you, Tony. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.